Okay.
Okay. Well, welcome.
We're on.
Welcome to another episode of Amazing Individuals, where we talk to individuals with intellectual disabilities and people that support them. On today's episode, Kurt and I will be talking to Coach Matt Nelson. He coaches multiple sports, including powerlifting and track. Hi, Matt, and welcome to our show.
Well, hi, Lisa. Thanks for having me today. And I see you're there with your husband, Kurt. Hi, Kurt.
Hi.
I just saw him yesterday at powerlifting practice. So hopefully are you getting some good rest today, Kurt?
Oh, yeah.
We worked him pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good.
So, could you tell our listeners first, like where you are from, or if you're originally from Chicago, or?
Sure can. I'm originally from Northwest Iowa, a little small town called Alta. A-L-T-A is spelled. It's such a small town. There's no stoplight. Nowadays, there's no grocery store. It's only about 1,700 people. So very, very small, rural Iowa. After I graduated high school, I went to the University of Iowa in Iowa City for 4.5 years. And then I've been living in Chicago since 1993. So almost half my life I've lived in Chicago, but originally from Iowa.
That's just like your sister, right?
Yep.
Your sister his sister lives in a really small town in downstate?
Yep.
Yeah. So they only have I don't even think they have a grocery store, do they?
No.
So
Just a small coffee
Small
shop.
towns are a good place to grow up.
So
But
so go ahead and answer your question.
Okay. How did you get involved with Special Olympics, and how many years have you been involved with the organization?
I have to look at my notes here. Okay. So I originally got involved with Special Olympics because first, my younger sister, she has Down syndrome. So she competed in Special Olympics probably for about 10 years. She started out when she was 6 or 7 and competed until she was about 13 or 14 years old, I believe. Then she started to get issues with her hips. So she had to retire. But then I went off to college and kind of got away from it. And then back in 2009, I was thinking, I just want to get involved with Special Olympics again. So I called Special Olympics Illinois and said, how do I get involved as just a regular person? And they said, where do you live? I said, Chicago. And at the time, to work with the Chicago organizations, you really did need to be a part of the teaching staff. That might have changed now, but back then it wasn't. And they said, well, the closest agency is Evanston. Next thing you know, I call up Evanston. I talk to a guy called Leonard Woodson, who you guys know very well. He's our head coach for Evanston Special Recreation. So then I volunteered at track and field and perhaps a couple other sports, but I think it was primarily track and field. Did that for about a year to maybe a year and a half and just loved it. Continued, I probably would still be volunteering, but I guess I made a good impression on Coach Leonard that he actually offered me a position. And now I've been with ESR, Evanston Special Recreation, for 11, going on 12 years. So I'm the assistant to Leonard. So I guess I'm the assistant head coach. And I love it.
Well, that's good. We're glad to have you too.
Yep.
So
yeah, I've known you guys for how long? 6, 7?
Probably 7.
Probably
right?
7, yeah.
Yeah, because I did it. I had my neck surgery in 2013, and I joined in 2014. So yeah, since 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So, what is your favorite sport to coach?
Oh, that's a good question. On any given night, it would be the sport I'm coaching. But truly, I think track and field. And the reason I think I love track and field so much is I competed myself track and field in high school. And then I was lucky enough to walk on the team at the University of Iowa for about a year and a half. And then injured myself, had some terrible shin splints, which didn't allow me to be very competitive at the collegiate level, but I have always loved track and field. So, and it's such a, I wouldn't say it's an easy sport to coach, but it's an easy sport to do. Very little equipment's needed. Everybody can walk, everybody can run, everybody can be in a wheelchair. So literally just involves getting your body moving in a certain direction or jumping or throwing. So yeah. And then also powerlifting's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the newer sports I've been coaching. And again, it's a very easy sport to start, but there's a lot of technique involved, and you're always improving and getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So I think that's probably my second favorite.
Okay.
Okay. Mhm. What
Yep.
what do you like best about coaching Special Olympics in Evanston special recreation?
You mean you guys?
Yeah.
So what I really like about working with Evanston Special Recreation, particularly, is sense of family.
Mhm.
Smaller agency, there's there that have hundreds of athletes. At any given time, I think we only have maybe 30, 40, 50 athletes that we're pulling from. The people I work with are very hardworking athletes. I think they put in a lot of effort to improve on their sport. They also, one of the downfalls, I think, of Evanston Special Recreation, and maybe that's because Leonard and maybe myself are doing such a good job, is that we have lots of multi-sport athletes, meaning our athletes do powerlifting and track and football and swimming. So we have lots of athletes doing 2 or 3 different sports at a time, which is great, keeps them very busy. But as a coach, it makes it a little more difficult because it's hard to specialize and really concentrate on one sport at a time. Secondarily, a lot of times our athletes are very tired because they're working out 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week when we would like them to take a day off between that. But yeah, that's also a good part about Special Olympics. It's not just about competing, it's about living a healthier life and getting off the couch, moving your body, meeting new people. So I think it really does help us, particularly Evanston Special Recreation, that we do have people they try all our sports when we first introduce them, and then they're usually doing 1 or 2 or more all the way through their career.
Yeah, and I think that's what you like, right?
Sort of like what I did when I first started, because I did 8 sports and that took me back a lot of years, but now I'm only down to 2 or 3.
Right, and at any age you can pick up a new sport.
Mhm.
In particular, yeah, Kurt here, he just started powerlifting 2 years ago, 2 or 3,
Two.
and yes, right now, Kurt, your mobility is limited a little bit because you have a knee injury.
Mhm.
So we're just doing bench press, but again, there are people around the world who only bench press. So
Mhm.
again, it's a great opportunity to keep active and stay strong.
And so, yeah.
So, in the summer of 2018, you were honored to be one of the track coaches in Seattle for nationals. Could you kind of tell us what that experience was like and maybe what our favorite memory was?
I sure can. It was amazing. It was quite an honor. So yeah, back in 2018, but we really have to go back to 2016 or 17. So it's a multi-year process. First, you have to apply to be a coach. That takes about a year prior to the games, and then you keep your fingers crossed and hope you get selected. And then I was lucky enough and had the honor of being selected of one of the only three track and field coaches in the whole state of Illinois to be part of the team. I was one of the assistant head coaches. And then about a year prior to the games, we had a meeting in Bloomington. We met all the athletes. Me as a track and field athlete specifically met my team. I think there's maybe 12 athletes. And then for the next 3 to 4 months, we had a training camp. We spent a week with all our athletes in, again, Bloomington at the Illinois State University. working on the sports, introducing javelin and shot put to some of our other athletes that had never done them before. And then I think for about 3 months, then we got together. In one of the suburbs, we got together and worked out indoors. And yeah, just amazing experience first getting to know these people, and then flash to 2018. So just amazing honor, such an experience. We walked into the stadium, there's 30, 40,000 people all cheering, for the athletes particular, but I would like to think they were maybe cheering for me a little bit, right? I got to high five Tim Shriver. And then just the experience of coaching was so much fun because we had a lot of athletes that did have quite a bit of success at the Olympics. We brought home quite a few gold medals, silvers. We had athletes having never done perhaps a 400, and they went on and ran their personal best and were competing against some of the best athletes in the country. Also, it was so much fun meeting all of these other athletes from the other 49 states. In particular, I got to know this little sprinter from Hawaii, and I'm still a Facebook friend with her. And yeah, I would love to do it again. Any specific questions, but it was a real honor to be selected and for have the people downstate to put their trust in me. Because again, more than just coaching, we were with the athletes 24/7. So I'm making sure that everyone is eating well, not eating too much, having fun, not getting sick. If they got sick, making them get healthy. And yeah, just
coffee.
Right. Not too much coffee, not too much candy.
Mhm.
And I'm a real hands-on coach. So I was running around like a crazy man because we have to make sure our athletes get to the right place. I do want to mention one thing. At the USA Games, was it Reebok? No, it was Brooks. So Brooks Shoes had an event going on where they were doing fittings for shoes. And I was super proud. It took a lot of effort because not only is track every day for the most part, but where we had to get our shoe fittings was a long ways away. So long story short, Coach Matt made sure all of our athletes got over, were fitted, and got a free pair of Brooks shoes in addition to compete or taking part in the health fair that was going on there. So that was just a great way to cap off the whole experience, is to get a free pair of shoes, right?
Yeah, you were just happy to be nominated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I look
And
back,
that's the thing. Yeah, it just to be known or to be selected from all of the athletes that compete. Do you know, Lisa, like for instance, how many athletes we have in Illinois? Is it in the thousands?
Yeah, I think it's like, I know it's like over like 22,000 now. So I think
It is. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And again,
And
the number of athletes that are selected are maybe 60 or so, and the coaches are even less.
Well, when you were nominated, it was like there was 14 people for that one slot.
Okay.
Yeah, from what we understood.
And I know they're starting up the process of selecting a team for the
next year
22 games.
Yeah.
Where is that going to be again, Lisa?
Orlando.
Do you know?
Orlando.
Okay.
So actually, we already have it set where if for some reason we don't get picked to compete, we're still going to go down and help and volunteer.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Good.
That way
I haven't heard anything, but if they're thinking of putting my name in the hat again, I certainly would accept. So.
Yeah, you'd be good at it. So.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what have you gained from coaching and being a part of Special Olympics, and what is one of your favorite Special Olympics memory?
Ooh, what have I gained? Sense of community. Again, back before I was involved with Special Olympics, I was working at a desk job and staring at a computer all day and not really interacting with persons. And being brought into the Special Olympics community, I just had all of these people looking at me for guidance. So yeah, the sense of community, I think, is the biggest one. And my favorite Special Olympics memory, I know exactly what it is. And I remember coming home and telling my girlfriend about it and my other coaches. And I'm not going to name the person, but I'm a pretty athletic guy. So usually I can learn these sports pretty quickly. And since we're coaching people that perhaps have never done the sports before, maybe I'm a little better at them at first. But I was coaching an athlete in powerlifting. Person had never done it before. And before you know it, this person was lifting more weight than I could ever imagine doing. So that was just a great sense of accomplishment for me, and humbling too, that I've helped shape this person into becoming such a strong athlete that they're now doing things I couldn't even imagine doing. So that was just a great memory, and I'll always cherish that. And hopefully there's more times that will happen. But yeah, I still remember at the Special Olympic meet at state, I was like, how much did they lift? Whoa. It was amazing, because I think I wasn't actually there at the time, because I was also coaching track and field, but but I had been working with that person pretty closely, and wow, they just blew me away with their effort.
That's your favorite sport, right? To compete in, right? So yeah. If you could give any advice to people on how to interact with individuals with intellectual disabilities, what would it be?
I would say talk to them like you would just any other person, which is sometimes hard to do. A lot of times a person with intellectual disability may not look like yourself, or might look a little different. And oftentimes they might have a communication disability. They may not be able to converse like you or I do. Oh, I lost my headphone there. But I think if you just treat them like you would a normal person, and what I mean is, can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Talk, listen, truly listen to what they're saying. All right. Be interested. First of all, I think you should be interested if you're talking to a person. Secondarily, make sure that you don't complete their sentences or their thoughts. I made that mistake one time, because sometimes if a person does have a difficulty communicating, I as a coach will be like, oh, you mean so-and-so. And I really would recommend to people, be patient, let them say what they mean to say, and they might say, help me out with this. But in general, also, here's another pointer that I have. Whenever I'm working with a person in a wheelchair, I love to go down onto one knee and get at their level. First of all, I have a little hearing issues, so it helps me get closer to hearing them. But secondarily, most of the time, these people are always looking up, at the rest of the world. So I think it's really great to be able to get on that eye level with an athlete, and, really have that heartfelt communication. So yeah, listen, take your time. Oh, also, don't be afraid to call their BS. And what do I mean by that is, again, person with an intellectual disability, they're just like you and I, but they have difficulties do certain things. So if I have an athlete come into the gym and say, okay, today I'm going to coach, I'm going to lift 1,000 pounds, I'll say, no, you're not. And bring them down to earth in a fun way.
Yeah.
But again, you want to be realistic about the world around you and themselves. So, I never have an issue calling BS with an athlete.
Yeah.
Or if they say they can't do something, and
Right.
they can't.
Same thing. A lot of time it's out of fear, or they just have never done it before, and there's a lot of self-doubt.
That was like that. That was like that in the beginning 2 years ago.
For powerlifting.
But now it's like I'm so used to it now, and I always concentrate. It's always good to, to pay attention and listen.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
you don't listen to commands, then something's going to go wrong.
And break it down into steps. I like to,
Exactly.
for
That's what
instance,
I
if I'm
do.
teaching a new sport, we need to do
Mhm.
these 3 things. For instance, on the deadlift, put your feet, place your hands, move your body, something like that.
And focus is real important, because if you don't focus,
Huge.
you don't listen to commands, then you know it's that's the one thing that's real important for me when I'm doing the powerlifting, because I always wait until I hear it, listen to what
Getting
they
in the
have to say.
zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best
Yeah.
thing.
Sometimes us coaches do know what we're talking about. So you might want to listen to what we're
What?
saying. What?
Oh, here.
Okay.
Actually, that goes directly into our next question.
Mhm.
Actually.
What sport would you like to see our team add, if any?
Mm. Well, I saw this sport out in Seattle, so I know other states do it. I've been doing it for about 10 years. The answer is cycling or bicycle racing. And the reason I say that is it's a great way for a person to perhaps get in shape, lose weight without putting a lot of stress on their body, without running. A lot of people could do that swimming, but swimming takes a pool. The only downfall, it does require a bicycle. Not everyone has a bicycle, but I such enjoyed my experience with cycling, going really fast on a bicycle and feeling the wind go through your face. And with not a lot of preparation, well, without a lot of practice, you're able to get to a pretty high level of accomplishment on a bicycle. They only be hard to find a place to practice safely.
Yeah, I know of one of my friends is one of my friends does it from where is he? Oh yeah, one of my friends does it from Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so and he really enjoys it. And there's a couple other ones that I've met through our athlete leadership program that that they say they really enjoy it. But then, I know some other people are, want to have what is it? They've mentioned like a softball team or like have them do like a soccer team.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for new sports to be introduced. But again, like I was saying earlier, so many of our athletes do multiple sports, and there are only so many coaches where we literally are running out of days to introduce a new sport, because 4 to 5 days of the week we're already coaching multiple sports anyway.
Oh, I understand that. Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
But I'm sure there's something new coming down the pipe here.
well, I hope so, because it would probably be interesting just to have. Plus, it's like I know, at least for us, that it gives us an opportunity. Even with the athlete leadership stuff, it gives us an opportunity to meet new people and
Hmm.
meet new athletes, and probably gives you guys a chance to meet new coaches, and
Exactly.
so, so it's really, like I said, it's really fun to do multiple sports though, and it's always fun to meet all the coaches. So like even with you guys, and then um, I know you had a hard time at first adjusting from what Carlton to Leonard, right?
Yeah.
But
Because I consider, because with me, with Carlton would always, because I've had him for so many years as a coach, and then when Leonard, because Leonard was assistant coach before, with Carlton, I wasn't used to it, but now it's like I really like Leonard now, because he's more on when he doesn't, like when it comes down to the a week before the tournament, we've got to get this down. So no horse playing around. That especially in powerlifting, because if you play around it, you don't want to get hurt in powerlifting, because that's a really dangerous sport. So
Yeah, what I guess I forgot to say earlier, but again, one of the things I really like about ESR Evanston, we're pretty good. We're pretty competitive. So, especially at the track meet, I always love when we're not in a pandemic, it always seems like we're
Right.
the last people in the stands, the athletes, because we're cheering on our athlete, because we're competing in every event. People are always talking about, oh, Evanston, you guys are so good. You do so many sports. But yeah, I think I don't know if we try harder, but we try pretty hard.
I do miss but I do miss my running days for, when I used to do the 50 and 100. I do miss that, but now that I've been doing it for such a long time, I'm used to the walking now. So
Perfect. And right now we're doing what's called the virtual track and
yeah,
field
and
competition.
I like that better
So
'cause, I'm not rushing it, but I'm building my stuff
Yeah.
up, building myself up to it. So
yeah, and then we have the track meet next weekend.
Yep.
So yeah.
a week from today, we'll
Yeah.
be doing our track meet. Yep.
Yeah. So well,
mm-mm.
thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
Well, thank you.
Pat, we really do appreciate it. So we look forward to having you as a coach for hopefully many years to come. So
Mhm.
Many more. Yes.
yeah. So well, that wraps up another episode of Amazing Individuals. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with our coach, Matt Nelson. And before we end today, we would like to remind you to make sure you get your vaccine if you haven't got your COVID vaccine. And just to remind people that even though people have an intellectual disability, they're just like everybody else. So thank you, and stay healthy and stay safe.
And stay safe.
So,
Stay safe. Yes. Wash your hands.
yep,
Exactly.
there you
With
go.
hot
6 feet
water.
away.
Yeah.
Right.